Big plot points, part 2. One night we see Lee dreaming of a fishing trip he had with his vampire father, who told Lee about his birthing father and his story after asking him about finding the one. When things get serious with Soul. At this time, him and Soul have been dating for a very long time, so he's having a dreamscape memory of when his dad took him fishing and he was told his family story, which was not an easy one. Because he asked his dad, how I know I found the one. His dad told him, you'll feel all these emotions like connectedness, which he's starting to feel with Soul. After another flashback of Soul's, we then switch to the point of view of Soul's uncle, who is dating Lee's grandfather, who's talking to a mysterious long-haired man. He was not happy that Soul was unbound, since when Soul was younger, he accidentally imprinted on Lee. Time has passed, and when him and Lee are at school making out, he has a flashback to when him and Lee were trying to escape his situation, and Lee got hurt trying to protect him. And when his uncle's talking to this blonde-haired man, he throws a Rubik's Cube to try to distract himself. But the man was not happy. He was like, he's a pureblood. He shouldn't be with this half-blood mongrel. And his uncle's like, it's too late. They've been bound since they're kids. It can't be undone. But the man's like, we'll find a way. After a while, Lee and Soul break up temporarily. This happened because Hyeongje was thinking that he was lying enough, because at the time he was thinking he was male and that Lee wouldn't want him, so all the stress caused him to break up with him like, hey, I can't do this, I can't do this. When in reality he wanted to be with him, but he thought his lies would ruin the relationship anyways. But when they get back together, it was time for the school's trip, where everyone sees them as a couple since they both passed out in a sleeping bag together. A picture got around school the next week. They went to this little beach alcove for the school trip. After they had a few drinks, hanging out, Lee was getting tired, and he gets very cold easily while Hyeongje runs hot. So Seo went over to his boyfriend's side, snuggled with him, and someone that would be funny to take a picture, and it got around the entire school, and it caused some havoc. Big problem. Part 3. Soul eventually tells him that he's a male, not a female, and Lee does not care, and they stay together. But by this point, Lee's still somewhat convinced that Seo is actually a female but not wanting to upset his love and wanting him happy. He promises we'll see what happens. Next, we switch to the point of view of Lee's grandfather and Seo's uncle talking about mantis wolves, which Soul is one of them, and how dangerous they can be if they're not satisfied by their mates during mating season, which Soul was getting close to. During their night together, Lee's grandfather asked Soul's uncle regrets altering Soul's memory and confirming Lee's memory loss. What happened was they were on 12. After the accident, Soul was crouched at his uncle's feet, crying, saying, please don't alter my mind, I don't want to forget him. His uncle tried to tell him, you mean he is forgotten? It was confirmed because of the fall, he lost his memory. Him and his family are about to move to the States. Do you really want to remember someone who you will probably not see again? He was like, I'd rather have memories of him than lose him completely. This is where Seo's uncle realized that female wolves would rather have painful memories of their imprinting instead of losing them at all, and that it would seriously injure, if not physically and emotionally, kill his nephew by taking those memories away. So he decides to alter them to ease the burden of him being separated from Lee. And during this time, we see very conflicting things, since it takes us to another flashback of Seo's uncle talking to his half-brother. During this time, we find out his half-brother is a female, and that was another female, who was the love interest for Seo's uncle. Then we see her crouched at his feet when they confirm that she's pregnant with his half-brother's child and is worried for the safety of her child, and him, and he promised, I'll do anything for you guys, even though it's hurtful since at one point he was in love with her. So he has very conflicting feelings about his nephew. When we switch back to Sol, who's having a dream of a mysterious black wolf that keeps on taunting him about how Lee forgot him, and that if he fails to satisfy them, he will die. With that said, Sol was very sad and frightened for Lee's safety. A few weeks later, Sol went into heat. Lee found them. They shifted into their wolf forms with their tails and ears. They had some wild nights that lasted 5 days. But when Lee was too tired the 5th day, Sol's wolf got very impatient and made Sol shift. That triggered the parasite that was in Lee was connected to wake up and attack the wolf, knocking her out since Sol's wolf goes by female pronouns. Once Lee was safely secured, the parasite goes back to Lee's father, reporting that Sol was pregnant with triplets, and since Lee's father told the parasite, don't attack my blood, protect it, the parasite did not cause any damage to the wolf since he was carrying. Still, the parasite had terrible news that the chance of the babies and the mother surviving was slim. That's the end of